There's currently 90 brawlers inside of Brawl Stars, and today I'm setting out on a treacherous journey where I will continue to play until I get a first place showdown victory with every single one of them. I actually did this a few years ago, and it ended up taking so long that by the end of it, there was just a mountain of footage. A mountain so tall that I felt bad even sending it to my editors. So if this video somehow gets 20,000 likes, I will dig through my computer to find these ancient video files and have them edited for your guys' viewing pleasure. So if you guys want to see some old footage, like the video. Now, there's only 2 rules for this challenge. One of them is that I have to get first place in solo showdown to unlock the next brawler. And the second is that bot games don't count. Simple enough. Some brawlers are going to be super easy, and others are going to be quite a tall task. Anyway, our tale begins where every Brawl Stars player's story starts with Shelly. She isn't exactly showdown material, and it showed. I got second place twice, which was just heartbreaking. No! Did I get first or second? Did I get first or second? No! Come on, man! But on my 7th attempt, I got a God run. Flavor Blast. Yes! Come on! There we go. Woo! First one down, 89 more to go. Next up was Nita, another brawler who isn't great at showdown, but she's a lot lower in trophies than Shelly, so I was actually able to get first place in 1 attempt. After that, I was on to Colt. Initially, I thought this one was going to be easy, but unfortunately for me, that wasn't the case. I ended up losing a few times in a row, resulting in this. This is a bot game. Okay, never mind. I was like, wow, this game's going really well. And then I saw Tomar 753. I realized that no one has any gadget or super button or hypercharge buttons. And here we are. I didn't know it then, but these bot lobbies would come to waste so much time later down the road. I wish there was a way to opt out of getting placed in them, but there isn't. Anyway, after forgetting to unpause the recording, I did manage to get first place. And I learned that bots won't have any Supercell ID in their profile, but real players will. So that's neat. Next up was Bull. This is the first brawler where I was thinking to myself, like, man, this is gonna take forever. But nope. In my first match, they did put me in a bot game for some reason. But after that, I played lights out and won my first match. I was surprised to do so well with a tank on such an open map. I really hope the other tanks are also that easy, and this one just wasn't a fluke. Moving on, we've got Brock. Once again, my first game was versus bots. You guys can see now why this was wasting so much time. Apart from being put in a bot game, everything went great, and I managed to win in my first attempt versus real players. And right after this, the map suddenly changed over. I didn't know what to expect here, but regardless, I headed in with El Primo ready to go. Oh, no, wait, that's just bots. Now I'm ready to go. I had a fierce fight with this Hank for a while. And then after narrowly escaping the clutches of this Leon, I found myself in a 1v1. Nice! Come on! Did I super it on him, pushed him into the zone, then he had to push back into me? I had fists waiting for him. I love it. Come on. I was so excited about getting that win. But what I wasn't excited for was my next brawler, Barley. Throwers are infamously bad at showdown, and frankly, I'm scared of how long this one is gonna take. And right away, I was reminded of just how fragile Barley can be. But eventually, I settled in and got my positioning down. The game goes on, and eventually, I find myself pitted up versus one of my hardest counters, Edgar. Wait a minute, he missed. Please. I gotta kill him now. Come on. That's it, GG. Let's go! Let's go, dude. Oh my gosh, I'm on fire right now. I can't be stopped. Winning that one was amazing, and I felt like that if I can win that, I can win anything. That is, until I saw the next brawler on the list. He's probably the bottom tier, absolute worst showdown brawler in the entire game, Poco. He gets countered by all of the meta showdown brawlers, and on top of that, he has no DPS, no mobility, nothing. Just looking at that, I was dreading it so much that it made me want to wait until tomorrow to tackle that challenge. But other than that, so far, so good. No brawlers have taken too long, and will that change tomorrow? I really hoped not. All right, let's do it. Let's get this one over with. And right away, I was already struggling in the bot lobby. I just died to a bot, okay? And things would go from bad to worse because I died almost instantly in my first real match. It was clear to me that this one wasn't gonna be easy. That is, until this match. All game, I was fending off multiple people, and it's only because of Poco's healing abilities that I was able to do that. First, it was a Shelly and a Griff, then it was a Shelly and a Colt, then it was a Colt and a Spike, and after dealing with all of that, it finally came down to this. Oh my god, yes! Oh my god! How? That is unbelievable. Oh my god, I didn't even have the right gadget and it still worked. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that only took 2 attempts. Wow. Next up is another tank with Rosa. And I'm gonna be honest, that one was super easy, no problem at all. I won my first match and I was on to the next one. Who just so happens to be my favorite brawler of all time, Jessie. But admittedly, she's really bad at showdown. She's got pretty low DPS, no movement, low health. She's just not built for this mode. That is, unless you're me. I don't know what it is about her, but I feel like when I play her, I can do no wrong. Like right here, where I was about to be jumped on by this Edgar. I had to position myself perfectly and utilize every single tool in my arsenal to survive this one. And the rest of the match went pretty well. However, despite almost throwing it all away, I was still able to clutch up and get first place in my very first match. I sold this game. I sold this game. Just kidding. Let's go, dude. Come on. I was on top of the world, or at least I was until I saw the next brawler that I needed to get a win with, and that was Dynamite. Like I mentioned earlier, throwers are some of the worst brawlers for showdown. They just simply get countered by a lot of the more meta brawlers that people are going to be playing. But something that lifted my spirits was seeing this bot Edgar's super glitch out, and instead of him jumping on me, it showed him just sprinting at me like a wild animal. And maybe it's because of that my luck was crazy. After only an attempt or two, I found myself in a top 3 situation, notably with an Edgar with hypercharge and a Byron. This Edgar was Thanos holding all of the power. He had the ability to take out whoever he wanted, and by the grace of the brawl gods, he chose the Byron. And because of that, I was able to sneak away with a first place victory. He picked the jump on me, I'm dead. And if he picked the jump on the Byron, he was dead. Wow, that's electric. Next up was an even worse thrower for showdown with Tick. And it didn't help that I was almost at 1,000 trophies on him. Match after match, I was just getting destroyed. Like, look at this lobby that I played in. 3 Edgars, 3 Lilies, a Surge, and a Fang. Simple math tells me that as a Tick, that's just not winnable, ever. And looking back, at least Dynamite has a stun and some good DPS, like he's not the worst. But with Tick, I was even struggling to destroy boxes. He's just bad, point blank, period. But eventually, after some mild frustration, I figured things out. After barely surviving this initial exchange with a Leon, it was time to execute my plan, which was to use my area control to force other brawlers to fight. It was genius. If I can't take them on my own, let me force them to fight each other. For example, look at this Leon. I completely shut him down from crossing this path, forcing him to fight other brawlers. And eventually, I get him killed because of it. This plan worked to a T, and I used that to secure my first place victory after a few tries. Next up was 8-Bit, and initially, I really didn't know what to expect. 8-Bit took a few attempts, but once I got set up in position with my turret, it was GG. And after being reminded that assassins will ruin my entire day, Rico was also pretty easy. It forced me to play a bit smarter, and I won pretty quick. Moving on, we've got Daryl, and the map suddenly changed over to, whatever this is, but I wasn't afraid of a challenge. I sat in a bush, waited for my hypercharge, rolled onto everyone, and won. Pretty easy. Next was Penny, who is close to 1,000 trophies, so I expect this one to be a bit of a challenge. In the early game, I was getting bodied by everyone and anyone, but once the game progressed enough for me to get a mortar set up, I just had to wait and the win was mine. After that, I was on to Carl. His recent hypercharge acquisition has made him pretty strong, being too stubborn to swap to his hook gadget because I like rocks, and that resulted in me dying a lot. It may have taken a few matches, but once I got my hypercharge, it was pretty much GG's, and I was on to the next brawler, Jackie. She happens to be pretty low in trophies right now, so it was pretty much a free win almost instantly. And that brings us to the final super rare brawler, Gus. It seems like he's kind of the jack of all trades, not like Chester. He's got good range, good damage, his super has a good shield, and it provides him a modest knockback. But unfortunately, that was the problem. He's good at a few things and master of none of them. And because of that, it took painstakingly long to get a first place win. I got second a few times along the way, and it almost broke me. But I persevered and somehow managed to win this end game right here. Yes! Come on! Finally! Oh my gosh! And there you have it. 20 brawlers down, 70 more to go, and tomorrow I start on the epics. I took a day off, but I came back with a renewed sense of tenacity. And to make things even better, the map was Rock Wall Brawl. And this map is just god tier. This is a spot where you can play everything and anything. Sharpshooters, throwers, tanks, you name it, and it can be played on this map. And to get things going, we've got our first of many, many epic brawlers, Bo. Thanks to his hypercharge, I was able to trick this Cordelius. At the start of the match, I farmed this Primo and got my hypercharge. And so really early on, I got these hypercharged mines down. And later on, this Cordelius watches me throw a regular set of mines down and had no idea the hypercharged ones were still there, because why would he? Eventually, the silly little guy walks right onto it and GG. Let's go! The next brawler is Ems. And after a few minor mistakes, that hit me. No, that hit me. How? And as I was sitting there stunned, awaiting death, I remembered that I needed to play my distance with Ems. But once I did that, I executed it perfectly versus this Jackie, and I picked up a win. Nice, let's go. Next up was Stu, a top tier showdown brawler, one of the best in the game. But he's at 1,000 trophies, so I was definitely gonna need to lock in for this one. I'm not gonna lie, it felt great to play a brawler that counters all of the Edgars that have been giving me nightmares lately. 1,000 trophies or not, Stu was an easy win. It was on to the next, who is Piper. Earlier, I said that you can play sharpshooters here, and honestly, it's a lot harder than I thought. The amount of people that just stand behind a box so I can't shoot them makes it so frustrating. It's a smart play, but God, is it so annoying. It's that and just the style of play that people bring out when they're going against a Piper. It's just... My desk almost caught a haymaker right here, but I kept my composure. And because of that, cooler heads prevailed, and I found myself picking this lobby apart and eventually getting my first place victory. But it did take quite a few attempts to do it. Next is another one of my favorite brawlers, Pam. She's just fun to play. Definitely not nearly as good as she used to be, but I'll find a way to make it work. It took an attempt or two, and me forgetting to unpause the recording, but Pam's beefiness with her health made this one pretty easy. Plus, the healing from her shots and the ammo-sucking gadget, it all comes together so nice. I just love the way she plays. At the end here, I Tom Brady the turret at my opponent, using it as a shield while I'm shooting them and healing and doing damage. It's just fun. It's a great time, and that sealed my win. Next is Frank. I just finished my Brawl Pass and got this insanely cool skin, and I wanted to go with a full Frank Smash build. No brain, no aim, just do damage, and that brought havoc to the lobby. I had everyone cowering in fear, and rightfully so. I destroyed everyone, and I'd say it was the easiest win out of any brawler yet. After that was another tank with BB. I don't necessarily expect to win with her in the same way that I did with Frank, but I couldn't have been more wrong. It was BB swing, run it down, power up, and instill fear in everyone. Just take a look at this endgame. These two helpless little gups just standing here frozen with fear. You already know what happens, and it was another first place. So far, these epics have been a great string of brawlers, and looking at what's to come, I can't see that changing anytime soon. Except for one brawler that I was really not paying attention to when I had said this. But for now, B was actually fairly easy. It's no surprise because she is super strong in the meta right now. But next comes Nani, and this was a nightmare. I'm super squishy, so it's like I'm walking on ice every single game, where one wrong step means I'm dead. And it was game after game after game. I tried it, I just couldn't get it. So many matches went by that I actually just stopped recording entirely. But here's a replay of the final moments and my reaction. Yes! Finally! Finally! Oh my gosh, dude! How many attempts was that? Let's count. About 27 matches. Any of the ones you see in first place here like this, these are just bots. These aren't real players or anything, but man, that was awful. But I'm rewarded for my efforts because the next brawler up is Edgar, the coveted, most iconic showdown brawler I think there is. And so after equipping my thumbs down pin, I was ready to go. It wasn't long before I found myself in a top 5 situation. But Edgar is different. He's so powerful that even these diabolical teamers in a group of 3 couldn't stop me. And boom, easy enough, it was on to the next one. The first thing I did upon opening the game is check the shop, where I saw these monstrosities. But also, if you guys are buying anything from the shop, I'd appreciate it if you could use my code. It may seem like it doesn't matter, but I can see how many of you guys use my code every single day, and honestly, it really does help out a lot, so thank you. Moving on, the map of the day is Safety Center. It's another one of those classic maps where a variety of brawlers can be played here, and hopefully we can avoid another Nani situation from yesterday. But the first brawler of the day, Griff, might be a tough one. Just because he's at that 1,000 trophy range, it does make the maps a little bit more sweaty, but hopefully we can get this one done pretty quick. But after playing a near perfect first match, I ended up choking in the end game. The next chance I get, I won't mess it up. And sure enough, my next match went great. I pick up a few early eliminations and position myself well to win this. Eventually, it gets down to a 1v1 versus a Shelly that I almost throw. Keyword is almost. It ended up being so close that I had to wait for the end screen to pop up to tell me that I got first place. And now I can move on to the next brawler. Grom, a thrower who's just a little susceptible to my arch nemesis Edgar. He's got no stun, no mobility, no escape from these vile creatures. It got to a point where I was genuinely afraid that I would never get a win with Grom, until I got into this lobby with only one Edgar in sight. All I had to do was avoid him. Oh wait, he spawned right next to me. I finessed my way around the map, continuing to run away from him, but he seemed to be locked onto me, which is fair because Edgar vs. Grom is an easy kill for him every time. But the match goes on, and once the smoke clears, it's down to a top 3. Me, this Edgar, and a Chester. I tried my best to position myself so that the Chester would attack the Edgar, but the Chester was fixated on me as well. And because he wouldn't leave me alone, I was forced to attack him. I did a lot of damage to him, and it made him run away and hide. And then there it was, the battle of a lifetime. Me versus the Edgar. If I take him out, my odds of winning increase significantly. I get him pinned on the outside of the map right near the gas. And luckily for me, he had no super. So I drop shots on him like water in a bucket, and I take him out, earning my hypercharge and my super at the same time. I instantly pop it and Tom Brady that bad boy over to where this little baby Chester is hiding, and that is how I won with Grom. Next up is another forgotten brawler, Bonnie. She's been pretty bad for a really long time. Or so I thought. In canon form, yeah, she's horrible. I almost end up dying at the start of this match because of it. But in baby form, she's like a mini Leon, and it's actually pretty good. I mysteriously find 4 power cubes just sitting here in the middle of the map, which was a little weird because I thought someone was sitting in the grass baiting me to try and take them. But then I realized that that's completely okay because I can melt the face off of anyone that comes near me. I get powered up, run everyone down, and it's a first place win in my first game with Bonnie. Surprisingly, pretty good. The next brawler is Gale, a perfect counter to these pesky assassins that torment showdown lobbies. Not a single other brawler wanted to come near me. He was a treat to play and an easy first place victory. Next was Colette, very easy to play, lots of damage being pumped out. It makes the assassins that normally run showdown terrified. And because of that, I could probably play with my nose and still get first place, so another easy win. After that was Belle. After getting jumped on by a few Edgars and Kits, I realized that I needed to lock in. But once I did that, I hit almost every single shot I took and got my victory. Next, it was on to Ash, and I think people severely underestimate him. Edgars think they can jump on you, and other brawlers think that they can just run you down. But I know better. I know how powerful this trash receptacle can be when you know how to play him. They thought I was going to be an easy kill, and I ended up wiping almost the entire lobby and winning my very first match. Next up was Lola. She pumps out a crazy amount of damage, way more than I expected. I know she just got a hypercharge, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what it does, because I didn't use it until the final seconds of the match, but clearly I didn't need it. First place, easy. Next up is probably my single least favorite brawler in the game, Sam. I just don't like the way he plays, his abilities, his skins, his voice lines, none of it. But what I will say is that he's quite strong. With some fancy footwork, good positioning, and good use of my knuckles, I was able to pretty much ape everyone in this lobby and win at 1,000 trophies in my very first match. Things were clearly going well today. Maybe too well. Anyway, after that, I was on to Mandy. I really wanted to hit a clip with her hypercharge, but that cost me quite a few matches. I tried over and over, and this was the best I got, okay? Woohoo, first place me, go next. But when I went to look at the list of brawlers, I realized that there might be a small problem. We're coming up on quite a rough stretch of brawlers that are all at 1,000 trophies or more. And to make things worse, the map switched over to Skull Creek. It's not my favorite map of all time, if I'm honest, but it'll have to do. And so, reluctantly, I headed back into the gauntlet with my next brawler, Maisie. She's actually a really well-rounded brawler. Great DPS, multiple ways to stun and push people away, her dash gadget is great for escaping enemies, and even with all of these tools at my disposal, I was still getting bodied. Part of it was probably a showdown skill issue on my end, and part of it might have just been the map. The inner me really wants to blame it on the map. Anyway, after 12 grueling matches, I still almost threw this unlosable endgame. Finally, Jesus, man. Even with a decent brawler, these 1,000 trophy games are definitely no joke, dude. Was onto my highest trophy brawler, Hank. A week ago, I would have been really excited about this, but he recently received a huge nerf to his previously OP hypercharge, and I'm not sure how that's gonna affect him. But as it turns out, this map is actually OP for Hank. The walls were amazing for me, and I probably could have won my first match if I didn't have a Lily seemingly pop up out of nowhere and ruin my game. But I won my second go with no issues at all. And that brings us to Pearl. And Pearl makes me really, really angry. She should be good at Showdown and just wasn't on this occasion. She lacks the damage you need to scare people away from pushing you. That and her super taking the short second after you click the button to actually go off got me killed so many times. So many third and second places. So many matches tossed away. But unexpectedly, I got first place in this match and you could just hear the relief in my voice. Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Wow. These 1,000 trophy brawlers are no joke, even when playing with a good brawler. And next up was Larry and Lori. This map might not be great, but it is great for throwers. Did I say great? Maybe for other throwers, but certainly not Larry. His lack of DPS makes it so I can't 3-shot my power cube boxes. And his reload is so long that by the time I could destroy them, other brawlers already got their cubes and can come push me off of the ones that I'm supposed to get. And obviously, if I'm not getting any cubes, winning is going to be impossible. And so I played, and played, and played, and played, and played, and this is the culmination of 23 straight attempts. Yes! Yes! Oh my god! That is the 44th brawler done, meaning that getting a win with Angela would put me at the halfway point for completing this challenge. Now, I'm not gonna lie, my biggest struggle was clicking the gadget button while I had a shot already charged up to shoot through the wall. Look, I'm not some nerd playing on Claw on the iPad, okay? I play normal. But after giving myself carpal tunnel by trying it a few times, I gave up and just did it normally. And I just so happened to get pretty lucky in this match, because a very kind Cordelius took me on a vacation to the Shadow Realm and I found a nice cozy bush to sit in. And by the time I came out, there were only 3 brawlers left. Stu takes out the other one, and all I had to do was hit this shot. 45 brawlers down, 45 more to go. Oh boy, we've got a long way. So it's a great thing for us that Skull Creek is still around because I'm gonna need all of the walls that I can get for our 46th brawler, Barry. In 3v3, he's an easy S tier brawler, but for Showdown, I wasn't expecting much. But I'm happy to say that I was pleasantly surprised. After getting back-to-back second places, I wanted to cry real tears in real life. That's not why I'm happy, I'm getting there in a second. But at least that showed that winning is very doable. And a few games later, I found myself at the right place at the right time. I picked up an easy kill on a Daryl, grabbed a ton of cubes, and at that point, I was so intimidating to this Chester, who almost took me out at the start of the game, by the way. He was so scared of me that he ran into the gas, giving me my first win of the day. Now here's the problem. I've got 2 more epic brawlers to get through, and both of them have 1,000 trophies. Anyway, next up is Shade. In my max tier video, I learned that Shade is really slept on. I rate her pretty highly. And in my very first match, I got a disappointing 2nd place. I just held onto my super for way too long and I should have used it and I'm still mad about it. But because I play so well, I thought I just didn't have to try that hard. And so match after match, I kept just running around, being too aggressive, fighting for cubes that I definitely shouldn't have, and I did all of the wrong things. And so after 12 incredibly frustrating games later, I forgot to unpause the recording, but the match was clean. I started using my super to chase more people down and played like a true assassin. A few takedowns later, and it's 1v1 versus Janet. At this point, I thought the win was in the bag. But looking back, if I didn't use my super during her hypercharge, I think I would have taken more damage and lost. But hey, I won, and it was on to the final epic brawler, Meeple. By the way, some of his voice lines reminded me of Wasim, and I'm not really sure why. It's just the diction and the way he says them, they have the same cadence as Wasim. Anyway, winning with Meeple was super easy, and I was finally on to the Mythic Brawlers. First up was Mortis. After patiently waiting for my enemies to bait out this Gale gadget, I did what every Mortis would do. Swoop in, steal the kills and the cubes, and win the match. GG. After that, it was time for Tara. The recent change to gadgets has made her clones really strong, and it would have really helped to have had the brain power to see that I didn't have them equipped. But after doing that, I spammed them down all game and got first place pretty easily. Next up was Gene. And oh my god, I forgot him when I was mentioning the worst showdown brawlers. The lack of damage that he has makes it so almost every other brawler can run at you without fear. They push you off of your power cube boxes because you can't destroy them fast enough. It was a disaster. But when problems like this arise, it's arguably when I do my best work. All I had to do was keep playing. At the end of the day, it's a numbers game. The more lobbies I get into, the higher my chances are of getting into a match with weaker opponents, thus increasing my odds of getting a win. And so that's what I did. Queue up, die, lose, run it back, over and over. And you know what? My persistence paid off because after poking my enemies enough, I put myself in this winning situation. And some of you with a keen eye might notice that I was pressing my attack button oddly close to my hypercharge button. And that's because I was panicking, trying to click my hypercharge, and I kept missing it somehow, and I don't know, I killed my opponent and I won the game. I don't know. The next brawler up is Max. Overall, I haven't really spent a lot of time playing her, but I do know that if you have the wiggles and can use the movement and speed part of her kit to the best of its ability, she's really good. And it took me a lot of matches to hone it in and get it down. But then the map switched over to whatever this map is. I don't know the map, but what I do know is that if I want to get first, I'm gonna have to be playing out of my mind. It's constant movement and shooting and applying pressure and positioning, and once I did that, I found myself in a 1v1 for the win. Next up is Mr. P. He's got it all right now. A busted hypercharge, a crazy strong gadget on such a short cooldown, good range, and he creates pressure all around the map. And you already know that Mr. P was an easy win. That's what I'm talking about. But next up was another brawler that I was actually afraid of even doing, Sprout. All for a lot of the same reasons as the other throwers. You get hard countered by every other brawler in the game almost anymore, and it makes it tough. But regardless, I headed into my first match. I knew that getting power cubes was going to be the key to my success, and so I fought hard for each and every one of them. One by one, I acquired power, taking down my enemies with strategic precision. But out of the bushes came an Edgar. I have zero answer if he jumps on me, so I ran away. I then hit some shots on this Chester, luring the Edgar to jump on him instead because he's weak, and it works. He jumps in and takes him down and then has low HP because of it. But then he sees the tiny little Sprout in a bush, and he decides that it's too delicious for him not to immediately jump on, which was a big mistake. Yes! Yes! I had to hit that shot, and I did, and oh my god, man! Speaking of brawlers taking a long time, next up is Byron. He's so squishy that pretty much every brawler in the game can take him out with no problem at all. And I'm fast forwarding a bit, but it took me 15 attempts to find myself in this top 3 situation. Oh, wait, Chester. I think he's dead. Yes! Yes! Come on! God, my brain hurts. And then my computer was having issues and I couldn't record, and it took 2 whole days to fix, but I was finally back. And the next brawler up is Squeak. And the unfortunate part was that the showdown map that was out was Cavern Churn. It's really a tank's heaven, and because of that, lower DPS brawlers are gonna struggle here, like Squeak. But apparently, Squeak is just a god, and I won my first game without any problems. What a great way to start the day. And next up was Lou. But as it turns out, my hypothesis about lower DPS brawlers struggling here was spot on. It took me not 1, not 2, not even 3 or 4 or 7 or 8 attempts. It took me 15 attempts to finally get a win with Lou. Next up was Colonel Ruffs. The advantage that you get from bouncing his shots around makes him great for this map. Plus, his rocket gadget helps to force opponents into bad situations. Combine those two things, 2 games played, another easy win. After that comes probably the single best brawler for this map, Buzz. I've got 2 words for you. Vision, gadget. Do I need to say any more than that? Easy win. Next up was Fang. As the gas closes in, Shelly and I are dancing around this circle, but there's still a third brawler looming about somewhere. I genuinely don't know how he's still hiding at this point, but he is. I make a play on the Shelly, and then a Primo pops up out of nowhere, kicks in the door like the Kool-Aid Man. A battle ensues, and we both seemingly die at the same time. But I prevail as the first place victor and move on to my next brawler, Eve. I just used the Pickle Factory to scout out the bushes, and she's a pretty low trophy brawler, so another easy win for me. After that was Janet. I thought this one was going to be another easy one, but if I didn't get my super fast enough, I would just die. Mainly because I was too stubborn to swap off from the boombox gadget. I just liked having it as security on this map. Eventually though, I found a match where I farmed my hypercharge off of this Primo, and I really should be sending him a thank you card. Because of his efforts, I used my hypercharge to survive and win that match. Next up after that was Otis. I don't remember what happened exactly, but in my notes I just wrote, spam gadgets in the bush, spam shots in the bush to check for enemies, silence whoever I face, GG, go next. And next up is another brawler that I was genuinely excited to play, Buster. I love his playstyle, and he just got a hypercharge, and I was pumped to try it out. I didn't exactly get good value out of it here, but hey, I was a menace to all of these close range brawlers on this map, and I won in a game or 2. Next up after that was Gray, a brawler who isn't really showdown material at all. It takes Gray 4 shots to destroy a power cube box, and so the only cubes I managed to get were the ones when no one was around me at all. Despite him not being that great, I was still getting a lot of high placements, but I just couldn't close out a first place victory. Edgars were jumping on me before I got my super, or tanks were just running me down. I just couldn't get it done. For some reason in this lobby, I actually had a chance. I narrowly escaped the evil clutches of this Griff, and with some clever positioning, I take out this Edgar to seal my first place victory. After that, I took a break for the day. The next day was I don't even know what number anymore, but the first brawler that I needed to play was RT. Lucky for me though, the map that was out was God tier for him. It was feast or famine, and oh baby, I was having a feast. Okay, I don't know why I said that, but anyway. And honestly, that was literally the easiest win I think I've ever gotten in any match in any game of all time. That was literally the easiest win I think I've ever had. Next up was Willow, and honestly, she was a weird one. She's not really a great showdown brawler, but I was still able to place well, and that's literally all I could do. Attempt after attempt after attempt, I was consistently placing pretty well when I was trying, but first place continued to elude me, and after over an hour of trying, I finally got first. But I had the recording paused because this was taking so long, and I thought I was gonna lose this one. But I was rewarded handsomely for enduring that pain by getting to play an amazing brawler next, which was Doug. Go in, get cubes, control the middle, and boom, another easy win. After that, it was on to Chuck, and right away, my plan was clear. I would position poles around the middle and use my super to escape danger or reposition, etc. The only problem was getting everything set up. And even if I got all of my poles down, the game was halfway over, and I was lucky to even have 1 power cube to my name. But eventually, the stars aligned and the conditions were perfect for me to steamroll the competition. Get it? Steamroll. Next up was Charlie. I am a Charlie master after all, so this one was also pretty easy. Then I was onto a brawler that I've seen in almost every single match, Miko. Moist players, wait, there's a typo in the script where I typed moist instead of most. Okay, I'm gonna leave it in there. Moist players struggle to even hit Miko when he jumps on them, so this was another easy win. Next up was an assassin brawler that doesn't really need an introduction, but here's one anyway. Melody. She's insanely OP and yet another easy win. Somehow today is comprised of the hardest brawler to get a win with and a few of the easiest. But coming up, we've got a sea of brawlers at 1,000 trophies to get through. And to start it off, we've got another assassin brawler, Lily. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this one took me way more attempts than I'd like to admit, but I was just playing stupid, running around thinking I'm invincible for no reason at all. But once I locked in, I was able to get it done, and it was on to Clancy. And playing Clancy is a lot like eating a brick, like a literal real-life brick. It sucks, and why would anyone do this? Eventually, I won this match by the skin of my teeth, and it didn't take nearly as long as Willow, but man, Clancy just sucks. But unfortunately for me, playing with terrible brawlers wouldn't end there, because next up was Mo. He used to be at the top of the food chain, but has since fallen from grace. In my max tier video, I said he felt like a shell of the brawler that he used to be, so let's see if that's still true. Even though he received a buff in the recent update, he is somehow worse than he was before. He's worse than you could ever imagine, especially in Showdown. I could sit here and rattle off every single reason, but I'll spare you guys. But after an ungodly amount of attempts, I somehow still managed to get first place and moved on to Juju. And she had all of the same problems that Willow did. I don't even want to count how many matches it took, but man, it had to be a lot. I probably played for over an hour minimum. Oh my god, I did it. Oh my god, man. Perfect timing. This kit at the end jumped onto the bow, and I was shooting, and I took them both out, and that was just, oh. Wow, that was awesome. The Mythic Brawlers were going to be done soon, and the last 1K Brawler standing in my way was Ollie. But little did I know that he would be one of the toughest Brawlers to get a win with throughout the entire challenge. Okay, so let's take a look at the Brawlers who thrive on this map. Buzz, Shelly, Tanks, etc. And who's good versus Ollie? Now you get what I'm saying. This took so many tries, I was really starting to lose my mind. I was unpausing the recording! This is why I just leave it paused! This is why I just don't touch it! Just leave it off and I'll get it after. God! It was a non-stop cycle of dying to brawlers that I literally can't do anything to. My gadget and super even make them follow me. Like, I don't want these brawlers anywhere near me. But I said it before, slamming my head at the wall until it breaks is something I do especially well. So eventually I managed to get my win, and here's my reaction. Yes! Yes! Yes, dude! Oh my gosh! Finally, I was in the clear. Just one more Mythic Brawler remains, and he's at 0 trophies. It's Sphinx. I really just had to play him enough to not verse bots, and I won the game. And just when I thought I was done for the day, I wasn't. Some of you with a keen eye might have noticed that I forgot all about Lumi. I didn't even have her. I had to go to the shop to buy her. So if you guys are buying anything from the shop, I'd appreciate it if you could put my creator code Connor in. That's it. Thank you. I had no idea what Lumi was all about, but she seems pretty fun. Anyway, I pushed her enough to not face bots, won the match, and I was finally done with all of the Mythic Brawlers. If I can lock in tomorrow, I could finish the 12 remaining Brawlers, the legendaries. On the next day, this final day, I decided to wake up as early as possible to get this done. And a part of that is because I'm actually a feast or famine enjoyer. And the map was still going to be out for a few more hours, so I wanted to play it. I was also excited to play it because I'd say that Legendary is home to a lot of the best showdown brawlers in the game. But first, I'm starting off with Spike. His poke damage and really his damage as a whole made this one unbelievably easy. And because of that, I was able to keep my range and even take down this behemoth of a primo to pick up a win in my very first match. Then it was on to Crow, and after placing well in my first game, I had high hopes, but those hopes would go on to be crushed. Lucky for me though, that was only temporary, and after some finessery at the start of this game, I put myself in a great spot to go on and eventually win it. Next up was Leon, and man, I was looking forward to this one. The recent change to gadgets now being on a timer made it so that I could spam down the clone like, I don't know, every 5 seconds or so, and those got me info as to where my enemies were hiding. That combined with his close range damage being off the charts made the win as easy as you'd expect. After that comes Sandy. Despite his overall low DPS, his stun and ability to control the center of the map was amazing. Once I got in there and didn't die right away, I'm not gonna lie, it took a few attempts, but eventually I got it done. And next, I was on to Amber. To start off, I was really struggling with her. That is, until I swapped my gadget so I can passively charge supers by sitting in a bush, and that made everything just a little bit easier. Just a little bit. And then it was time for Meg, yet another top tier showdown brawler. With the help of her hypercharge, I mopped the floor with this lobby and won my first match. I was pumped to have such a great set of brawlers to end the challenge, and they don't end there because next up was Surge. But right away there was a problem, and that problem was that I really couldn't get to the middle without dying, so farming my super was pretty difficult. And if you know anything about playing Surge, if you don't get your super, that's not good. That's really not good. That's always kind of just been his playstyle. Play slow, farm super, and he tends to just get better as the game progresses. And that was exactly the case, because right when this Stu gave me super, it was GG. I used that to make space for myself and eventually take down this bow, I get a bunch of cubes, and I get my victory. Barely. Next up was Chester. He's really good into all of the brawlers that are played on this map, so I got Chester's win pretty quick. And then it was on to Cordelius. Like I said, the good showdown brawlers just don't stop. But it's not so much about the brawlers being good, it's more about getting in the right lobby. Maybe it's just the map, but it feels like I just need to keep playing until I get into a match with brawlers that don't counter me. For some, it doesn't take long, and others, well, others could take 50 plus matches. But that wasn't the case here. Cordelius is super easy to play, and I won after a few attempts. Anyway, next up was the pinnacle of solos, Mr. Showdown himself, Kit. And even though he's really good, arguably the best showdown brawler of all time, I had a hard time getting my win. Like, look at who's in this lobby. 2 Shellys and a bull. And you already know what's gonna happen. Part of it could also be because I'm an idiot and I run straight for the middle every time, because hitting all of the boxes at the same time is just too satisfying not to do. I know, it's not the smartest play ever, but I wanted to have some fun, and when it finally worked, oh man, I had some fun. I became a juggernaut from the cubes that I got, and I killed almost every other brawler in the lobby. But of course, this challenge couldn't end without one more obstacle in my way, and that is Draco. Winning with Draco was almost impossible. Even when I get my dragon, people could still just run me down, and there was nothing I could do about it. Over 15 games go by before I finally get my day in the sun, but man, that was tough. I'm skipping over exactly how tough it was. I'm really saving you guys the pain here, okay? It wasn't pretty, but I got it done. And finally comes the last brawler. All that stands in my way of completing this challenge was Kenji. I must say I am a Kenji master, but I did have to shake the rust off a little bit. And honestly, it took a few matches, but I was finally back to knowing how to play him. And once that happened, no one in this lobby stood a chance. Positioning was great, decision making was out of this world, movement and supers going down at the perfect time in the perfect spots. And finally, after getting first place with 89 other brawlers, I slot in the last piece to this puzzle. There it is, first place in Showdown with all 90 brawlers. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys later.